Well, well, looks like rats are back on the menu, boys. And sitting at a table with me today are Amicia, Hugo, and an unhealthy amount of rats. Okay, so first things first, this is the sequel to A Plague Tale: Innocence. If you haven't played the first game or you haven't seen my questionable attempt at reviewing it, go do that first and come back, okay? Seriously, close this video. If you already know the story from the first game though, we're good, because Requiem picks up not too long after where the first one left off. I'm also not gonna waste your time in re-explaining all the core mechanics I already went through in the first review. You don't need to see through that again. Instead, I want to focus on what actually changed from the first game. New items, new mechanics, stuff they added, stuff they changed. Some of it's great, some of it, honestly, not so much. I played this on PS5 performance mode, and I got way more FPS spikes than I did in the first game, just a heads up. Graphics wise, it's a clear step up. Obviously PC is gonna look better, that's just always the case, but on PS5 this game genuinely looks great. Alright, let's get into the story. Just the beginning, chapter 1, so you get a feel for what you're walking into with Amicia and Hugo again. The game kicks off about 6 months after the ending of the first game. We're still in France, still trying to find a cure for the macula. That's the ancient curse poisoning Hugo blood. Lucas is back helping us, and this time around he's not just the alchemist guy anymore. He genuinely feels like family. Honestly, half the time I feel like he's the only person in this story who actually is right about anything. The game eases you back in with a sling, and while exploring the castle we bump into some guy who's convinced we're thieves and wants us dead. Turns out some actual thieves torched a beehive nearby, and we get blamed for it. Classic. This is where the game reminds you sneaking and distracting guards still works, but now you can also hide under carts, stables, that kind of stuff. After we get caught, we see a quick time events are a thing now, and even if you nail them, you're still not getting free until Hugo steps in. Hugo passes out, and boom! We're inside his dream, or a nightmare, who knows. Turns out he's been having these dreams for a while, about some island, and none of us have a clue at what it means, or if it even means anything. Anyway, we decided to head towards the Red City to find this order that supposedly knows how to deal with the macula and help Hugo. But before we even get into the city, beekeepers are already hunting the boy and the girl who killed 2 people, which, surprise, it is us. New problems right away. While running from them, we pick up a bunch of new mechanics. Grass can catch fire now, so it's not exactly a safe hiding spot anymore. We can also counterattacks, meaning we're not just instantly dead the second something touches us like in the first game. And we can finish enemies off when they're down, or sneak up from behind. Enemies are also way more aggressive now, no more predictable patrol routes. They actually check the grass, so no one really feels 100% safe. And the game hypes you up so well right from the start. The music and atmosphere just hits perfectly. Listen to this. I genuinely can't put into words how much moments like that boost the whole experience for me. So, after escaping and reuniting with the rest of the family, we finally reach the Red City to track down the Order and help Hugo. And here's where I have to drop some slightly bad news. The game has even more walk into location while listening to dialogue than before. Like, almost every chapter starts this way. And speaking of bad news, more's coming. Wherever we go with Hugo, the rats follow. And this time, they look even tastier. I mean, scarier. If you thought rats were scary in the first game, in this one they legitimately swallow and destroy everything in their path. Okay, here's where I have some gripes. There's this new type of running sequence, where you basically just hold the stick in one direction and watch Amicia run. Looks cool, doesn't last long, sure, but honestly, just give me a cutscene at that point. And yeah, this happens a few more times throughout the game. Anyway, moving on. You can now throw sticks to light torches and lanterns, or toss them to your companions so they can light something or push through rats themselves. Mixing items was already a thing in the first game, combining stuff to light things on fire or put fires out. But now you can put those mixes into pots too, which gives you a bigger area of effect. Great for clearing a path or taking out multiple enemies at once. See two guards? You don't need to throw mixes one by one anymore, just chuck a pot. That's genuinely useful later on. In the first game, pots were basically just for distraction. Here, they've got way more uses. You can even combine a pot with an explosive base and basically get a hand grenade out of it. Oh, also, you no longer need to collect stones as ammo. Unlimited stones now, so missing your shot isn't the end of the world. Same as before, one headshot kills an unhelmeted enemy, and some areas have bags of saltpeter you can destroy to create smoke. Good for disabling enemies or putting out fires. Well, since I'm already on topic of items, let's just knock the rest out. That explosive item from the first game that cleared out swarming rats is gone, replaced with pyrite. You attach it to the sling and striking it creates light. You can also pick up knives now, useful for killing enemies from behind, or opening locked workbenches that have tools and pieces inside. New item, tar. You throw it on the ground and light it, or throw it into the fire for an even bigger effect to push rats back further. You can even throw it into the guard's torch to blind them if you don't want to kill them. That actually matters a lot because of this skill leveling system they added, which honestly sounds pretty cool. Basically, you earn skills based on how you play. Go full stealth, no kills, no alerts through action segments, and staying under roughly 30% of enemies killed, and you get the prudent skill. Go full Rambo and kill everything, that's the aggressive skill. Lean into alchemy mixes to disable enemies instead. Fire mixes, putting out fires, staying under the 70% kills, and you get opportunism. So the game rewards whatever playstyle you're into. Personally, I always go full stealth, but if sometimes you gotta get aggressive, so be it. The skills themselves are things like faster and quieter sneaking, throwing items further, faster slinging, faster mixing, stuff like that. Problem is, you can't unlock every skill in one playthrough, so if you want the platinum trophy, you're doing a New Game Plus run. And me, being autistic for things like that, I'm not actually autistic, I can't just leave it if that's the only thing I'm missing for the platinum achievement, I just can't. So yeah, that's why tar is gonna come in handy later if you're trying not to go full aggressive. Naturally, if there's more than one way to play stealthy, there's also more than one way to play aggressive. And here is where crossbow comes to play, and we can one-shot enemies wearing helmets. The crossbow also comes in handy for hitting distant targets or opening up locked paths. Yeah, the puzzles are still here too, if you can even call them that, mostly the same as in the first game. Move a wagon here so you can pass through, drop some tar there to get rid of the rats, move a bale of hay so you can set it on fire, that kind of thing. There's also more forced action segments now. I mean, sequences where you literally have to clear out enemies to progress. Like defending a barn while enemies keep coming, crossbow sniping from a boat, running from enemies. Basically, mission objective survive type stuff. And Hugo isn't your only companion, you got other allies. Lucas is with you from the start, since he stuck around through the whole first game too. And he's an alchemist who can throw mixes or blind enemies. Arnaud is a former soldier who can take on guards one-on-one while you handle other stuff. Sophia is a smuggler who can distract guards with LGBT ray, or use that same a mirror to create light. Super useful for getting through swarm of rats. At first you would think, great, these companions are way more useful than Hugo, but as the macula keeps progressing in his body, getting closer and closer to a final threshold, and we all know what that could mean, Hugo starts feeling and hearing the rats around him more and more. And that actually opens up new abilities. Hugo can connect with the rats, and he can sense people's blood, almost like a sound, letting us see through walls, which is a huge help where there's no grass around to hide in. And if you're cornered or out of options, Hugo can even control the rats directly, opening up new ways to get through action segments where you're otherwise stuck. The region kinda reminds me of Aliens from Alien vs Predator games. Alright, moving on. The codex is still here, but instead of just herbs, you're now also collecting feathers from nearby nests. Gifts and curiosities from the first game got replaced with souvenirs, which basically work as little memory tokens from specific moments. Weapon and gear upgrades works a bit differently too. Instead of gathering a bunch of different materials, it's all condensed into one resource called pieces, which you use at the workbench. The upgrades themselves are pretty similar to before, faster and quarter sling, more ammo, more carrying capacity, that kind of thing.
Much better.
There were also a few bugs, like Sophia's mirror light clipping straight through walls, me accidentally teaching Hugo how to fly, random freezings. But don't let that scare you off though. The story underneath all of it is generally good, and there is a lot of they improved. Action segments give you more freedom in how you approach them. Details are still excellent. You can see the crossbow bolt count on Amicia's back. Her breathing picks up when the enemies are close. The music gets louder and more dynamic in tense moments, and the voice acting is great throughout. The story is definitely more emotional this time. You really feel how much Amicia and Hugo have been through. And there are scenes where you genuinely connect with these characters. And of course, the soundtrack is fantastic again, right up there with the first game. But honestly, I think I like the first game more. It just left a bigger mark on me somehow. It felt like they knew exactly what they wanted to say and how to say it. And look, I get it, they wanted to focus more on the story this time, especially toward the end since we're building up to the climax. But that just means they needed to balance it out more in the middle of the game. Like, give us more actual gameplay there instead of just more walking, you know? And of course, I would love to show you so much more, but I don't want to spoiler anything for you. All that said, this is a good game, and I would absolutely recommend it if you're into a strong story. I had a great time with it, I just kind of expected more, because the first game genuinely blew me away. Maybe my expectations were just too high going in, I don't know. Bottom line, if you love the first game, you owe it to yourself to play this one too. Just be prepared for some heavy things, and make sure you got tissues next to you if you're a bitch like me.